Hey, Trig here, leaving the gym. Just did shoulders, I guess, or did overhead presses. I guess depends on if you're a bodybuilder or a lifter, how you would phrase that. But because I'm tired, I'm gonna say I just did shoulders. Overhead presses, just some different varieties. Standing overhead press, barbell, obviously in a rack, in the curling rack. Last week I did the 200-pound for one overhead press, and so today back down to 80% of that, which would be 160 obviously, and just kind of going to start working my way back up to 215 pounds, hopefully over the next, let's say 4 to 6 months. It may come faster, who knows, but I'm in no hurry anymore. I mean, I want to push for progress and all that, but my hurry up got broke. I used to have it, but I got broke. That's not what I'm really want to talk about today. Sitting in the gym, it's walking in at 8 o'clock in the morning, which is relatively late for me, but it's kind of that prime morning time, people coming in, and it's on a Monday morning. So you got a lot of people in there, a lot of people doing a lot of different things, all different ages, men and women, just kind of, people doing the cardio thing, people doing the whatever thing. But something that I've noticed, and this is not just today, but it just came to my mind today. Watching particularly some of these younger guys in their mid-20s who are doing what appears to me to be kind of the latest thing that they read on bodybuilding.com or T Nation or Flex magazine, whatever, kind of the routine of the month or the routine of the week, and not like in a not a workout of the day CrossFit type deal, but just rather the whatever that particular media that they are or reading has promoted as being the way to do it. And it's something I can completely understand. Spent a lot of time early on with my nose buried in those magazines, trying to figure out whatever the secret was, because I certainly didn't have the secret. And as a result, I wasted a lot of time just following, pretty much nonsense routines and jumping around a lot, doing this and doing that. And certainly, I made progress. I think if you just spend your time in the gym, just trying to do different things. I mean, if you're working hard and spending time in the gym, you're going to make progress. You might not make it the way you could make it, but you will certainly, you're going to get stronger. You're going to, people are going to say, hey, you work out, whatever. But the progress may be slower than necessary, and flipping those routines and doing that. Those so-called bodybuilding routines a lot of times are just going to wreck you. The understanding that you eventually come to with all of that is, every week or every month or whatever the turnaround cycle is for the magazine or the website or whatever, they got to come up with something new. Just like me, I want to come up with something new every time I do one of these things. But when you're promoting, some sort of an expertise on bodybuilding or whatever, you got this, all these sponsors and people coming in and, buying magazine space or ad space or whatever, trying to generate income off of this. A lot of times, it's got to be that new draw. It's got to be that, how to gain an inch on your biceps in 2 weeks, or how to put on 20 pounds of muscle in a month, and all that kind of business. And it's just regurgitated crap. If you've been around the magazine or internet world long enough, you kind of see that it's just the same old stuff being pushed all the time. And most of those articles by the top Mr. Olympia or whatever, they're all ghostwritten anyway. They don't write them articles. They don't have the time to sit down in front of a computer and write an article every month. That's not what they get paid to do if they're that level. But anyway, kind of got off on a weird tangent. You can blame it on the pre-workout, but the general idea is you got to find what works and you got to stick with it. You know, building strength, building muscle is a long-term endeavor. It doesn't come fast. It doesn't come easy. You know, even if you're you know, taking the Mexican creatine and all of that, it still doesn't come easy. I've seen some guys, you know, up there at the gym, and I'm sure they're at your gym too, that are definitely on some sort of gear, and they blow up real quick. You know, typically upper body. Most of these guys ain't working their legs, their calves at all. You know, and not because of an injury, not because of a bad knee. They just aren't doing it. But they blow up. You know, pretty soon they're sporting 17, 18-inch arms. You know, and you know, big chest and all that kind of stuff. But they don't have any strength. You know, they're not strong because they're not really willing to put in the kind of work and deal with the kind of pain that it takes to truly get strong. And strong being relative. You know, my strong is not the same as you know, anybody else's strong. I'm stronger than a lot of y'all. A lot of y'all are stronger than me. It's just, you know, that's life. But you know, it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of pain to get strong. But you gotta put your time in. You gotta pay your dues. You gotta get in there and day in and day out. You know, months and years at a time, and it comes. And not only does it come, it stays. It's not a fleeting thing. It's not you know, based upon you know, your current cycle. It's just is what it is. You know, if you're on a cycle, you know, maybe you get stronger. You know, or maybe you get bigger. But when you come off that cycle, you know, if you've done your real work, that stuff doesn't really go away. It might diminish a little bit, but it doesn't go away. But anyway, another tangent. You just got to find what works. You got to find what people who are you know, in the game, have been in the game for a long time, are actually doing, and not necessarily what they're selling. You know, a lot of these guys, I won't name names, but you know, there's a bunch of downloadable internet books out there, e-books or whatever, with all kind of systems, you know, promoted by people who have you know, made quite a bit of success in the powerlifting world or whatever. You know, but the thing is, there ain't no money in the powerlifting world, not really. There ain't no millionaire powerlifters. You know, there ain't no you know, there just ain't no millionaire powerlifters. Not from powerlifting. So they got to sell a product, and they come up with, you know, this system or that system, you know, 10-8-9 or, you know, whatever, and you know, you don't pay no attention to that. You got to pay attention to what they actually do. You know, you got to watch and listen and maybe do your research and dig around a little bit. But you know, there's a lot of information out there. You know, some of these old timers, these guys have been around a while, that have some really good stuff. So long-winded, pre-workout fueled babbling, I'm sure. But at the end of the day, what I'm saying is this: you know, stop buying those magazines, or, you know, continue to buy them, but don't look for them for anything other than just some sort of a general inspiration or something fun to read, or, you know, if I guess people still cut out pictures and hang them on the bedroom wall and say, I want to look like, you know, Frank Zane or something. But you know, if that's what you're buying them for, that's fine. But don't look for them or really a whole lot of places for those magic routines. Those magic routines do not exist. You know, you want to make progress, first of all, get your form right, get your exercise performance right. You know, actually mechanically performing the exercise correctly, because you see some people doing some crazy stuff. You know, stick to the basics. You know, Dan Martin likes to say, or used to say, squats and milk. You know, milk bloats me. I can't do squats and milk anymore, and I can't do squats anymore. But but I think the premise and the philosophy and the idea is as sound as it will ever be. It will be you know, sound until the end of the age. Is you just got to get in there, and you got to and do the work and eat right, and it'll eventually happen. And you got to work. You got to work. You know, I read a. You know, Mike Mentzer hardly ever makes sense, you know, towards the end. But one thing he did say is that, you know, if somebody promised you that you're going to get, you know, 2 inches on your biceps in 2 months, and you're 35, 40 days into it and you ain't grown an inch, well, it ain't coming, buddy. Why even go? Why even do the last 2 weeks? You ain't gonna get 2 inches in 2 weeks. So quit jumping around with all that crap. And just find what's worked for the guys that have made it work, and straight from the horse's mouth based upon your specific goals. I'm not a bodybuilder. I don't pay attention to what bodybuilders do. Even the good ones, even the ones that are real, because it's not my thing. I shouldn't say don't pay attention, but I do pay attention to that, but it's not where my attention is spent. In terms of my own personal growth. So anyway, I'm rambling again. Hey, y'all take care. Y'all be good. Have a great day.